Morning everyone, welcome back. Well, it's gone off, the handle has gone off, or the grip should I say. So time to take it out of its jig and get the real seat installed, which I will walk you through. There we go. That's nice and solid on there. You can't feel any hollows in it. If you press your thumb into the cork, it all feels so strong. That ain't going nowhere. Right, let's get this real seat on, shall we? So this is the real seat going on, the Fuji. Good old Fuji, bulletproof these, just never go wrong. I've never had one go wrong on me, ever. So what we've got to do here is we've got to build it out, because obviously where the rod blank's a bit thinner, we just need to build it out with masking tape. So basically what we're looking at doing here is wrapping the tape round like so until we get to a point where the real seat sits snug onto it. It's best to put too much on rather than not enough, and then you can take it off. There we go, we've got a nice fit there. It slides on it, but there's just enough room for the glue to go on. Now what we do now is we mark it at the end there, and then we put another bit there. Obviously that'll take a little bit more because the rod tapers as it goes up towards the tip. I can do this on my machine, which is quicker when I put it in the lathe part of this, but I find it more accurate doing it like this. It sort of goes everywhere when you try to spin it around. There we go, that fits nice. So now you got it, there's no wobble in it now, and it fits central around the handle. And then we've got our cork going above it, which probably doesn't need any tape on that. It lines up beautifully around there. And that gives that a nice finish then. Right, let's get that last bit of tape on. Let's try that. Perfect, absolutely perfect that. Just enough to get all the epoxy in there, the epoxy glue. Right, let's get the glue out and I'll show you what glue I use. So this is the epoxy I use. That's the U40 Quick Bond. It's a 10-minute one. Pretty good stuff. I've been using this ever since I started rod building. I've got a few here that are sort of nearly empty, so I'll use them up first, and I've got a couple of new ones here. Basically you just mix these together for a few seconds and then it's ready to go, and then stick the real seat on. Not much more to it really. Right, let's get that mixed up. I like to put a little bit of tape just around the real seat, just so the epoxy doesn't go all over the threads when you're sticking it. And then you can take it straight off afterwards and then clean up any that did get on there with the alcohol. Just those little things, because it's easy to get over your fingers, this stuff. For the sake of just putting a bit of masking tape on it, it's worth it, trust me. So it's important you don't mix the sticks here when you're putting this stuff on. Just get rid of the rest of this. And just give it a good old mix up. Combine the two together. Then you just need to get it on. Make sure you get every bit in between the masking tape here. Look, that's the most important bit. You don't want any hollows in it if you can help it. Strong old stuff this. I mean, there's other rod builders out there probably tell me to use this and use that. We will find out in the comments anyway. But any advice is welcome. So all we're doing now is actually slide it on. It's a lot of excess, a lot of waste, but you want to make sure it's getting in there. I can feel that that's getting a good bond around that reel seat. And you can just take this off. And there's the cork bit just going on. Same procedure. Give it a good clean up. Make sure there's no glue all over your reel seat. Obviously little bits always seep underneath it, so just get a bit of tissue with the alcohol on. Just give it a little clean around there. Absolutely perfect that. Right, just double check that you've got your reel seat in place with the spline. As you can see at the top of the butt section there, I've got a little mark. That's my spline, that's the side my guides are going. So if you look down the blank, you want to make sure your reel seat is facing that way up, which it's not at the moment, so I just need to twist that round. Right, so that needs to just sit right there. What I normally do now is I just get a clamp, doesn't need much pressure, just to stop it rising up, and just put that into place there like that. Now it's not going to move. That's how I do it. There you go, that's how you fit the reel seat. Right, so while that's going off, I'm going to get the guides marked for the top section of the rod. Now it is a barbel rod that I built before. It's going to be exactly the same as this one, so I'll just use this as my template. Normally I'd have a batten of wood with marks on it for each rod, but I'm going to mark the centre of each guide here with the old trusty China marker. And then they're both going to be exactly the same then. So the next stage is to get the guides ground down a little bit so as the thread runs up them easy, because what happens with these guides, they come out of the factory and they're not as sloped as you want them to be, so you just have to fine tune them a little bit and just get your little Dremel or whatever you've got, file, whatever you need to do it with, and just file it so that the thread will run up the guide a lot easier. So let's do that. I'll get all the guides out. That's marked up ready. So that's what I was saying about the guides. They've got a slight bevel on them, but it's not quite enough. So you just need to fine tune it just a little bit. So there we go, that's all the reel seat finished now. Glue's gone off. So I'm going to start getting the guides on. All cleaned up nicely, that. Looks really good. Where I've sanded it, I've got a nice rounded edge where it meets the reel seat. Perfection. Right, let's get these guides on. So as I mentioned before, just need to give these final touches and just get that beveled edge so the thread can go up nicely. Always hit it underneath as well, because what you don't want is any sharp bits sticking into the rod blank when it's held down by the cotton. There we go. And then just basically get a bit of Sharpie marker and just cover that in. Okay, that's them all filed down now. I've tipped them off with a bit of black. Right, here we go, here's the first guide on. I haven't got the first guide from the butt, this is the second one up on the butt section because I'm just waiting for that's on order. So basically what I've got here, this tape, this is where my thread will start and obviously finish here, and then I'll have a little metallic one just to this side of it, but I've measured from here, this point here to here, and I'll have the same this side as well, so as they both look the same. So basically what we're doing is get the thread on, then pass over that one, and then just turn it a few times to lock it. Now that's locked in place, you can bring it up to the tape, just get it nice and straight as you go. Fiddly little job this. When you're ready to just cut the tag end. And then just keep burnishing as you go, make sure them threads are packed nice and tightly. And as you get up to the guide, you just need to go a bit carefully. I've just gone a bit too far there. So you need to guide it up the foot of the guide. Sometimes it's easy just to do this bit by hand until you get going. Then you can let the machine do the rest. See, because I've filed that down, that's going up there really nicely. Just get my magnifying glass down on that a little bit, you can just see it a lot better then. Just keep burnishing it and tighten them threads up as you go. So now we're up to the top of the guide here. All we do is we cut this off, pass that through the loop, give that a little tug. Try to keep my hands out of the way to show you. Now that's locked in place, all you do is just give that a quick tug like that, and then you can just literally cut that off. Then you can just tidy up, burnish it up, and there we've got a lovely guide now, lovely bit of thread. And then we have our first bit of thread work done. Come out nice, that nice and tightly packed. Just got to put the decoration on the ends of it, but do that after I've put them on properly. Very nice. It's a bit tricky this next bit, just to put the band round here. Basically just wrap it round an object of such. I usually go about 4 times and just thread that. Hard to do it on camera. thread that through there, and then you come back the other way. It's gone under there. Hang on, let's get that back. There we go. And then you just slide her off up to the end, and then you can just lock it off. Sorry, just jogged the camera. Just get your tool, close it up, and you've got a nice little bit of decoration. And just get the old magnifying glass out, just make sure it's tight, and just cut these off. And there you have it, there's our first guide all completed now. Come out nice, got this little bit of decoration on the ends there. That's a metallic green. I've just done 4 strands of that. All ready for epoxy resin. Like I say, I haven't got the first guide for the butt section, so I have to leave that. It's coming tomorrow, but I can get the rest done. So I'm just doing my bit of decoration around where the decal or the label, whatever it is going to go on here, and then I'll do another one, bit of decoration just up a bit, and then the decal will go just in between it. But in between that, the thread that I'm putting on here, the dark green, this is an A size thread. The other ones on the guides are a D size, obviously because they're doing a bit of work, they're actually keeping the guides on, whereas this is just more decoration, so you don't need the thicker thread here. So that goes on thin. This is the trim band, that's the metallic green, which I'm going to be putting on in a minute. I'll show you. You basically, I usually do this under a magnifying glass, but I can't really put that there because it will get in the way of the camera. So you're going around once, then underneath your main thread, then twice underneath your main thread, then you can just go around and lock that thread off, keeping this side of the metallic. Then just do a few more turns. Oh, got that caught under there. It's fiddly while you're trying to film it and do it. So just do a few more turns around there, keep that tightly packed in there. I'm normally quicker than this, is because I'm filming at the same time, it just makes it a bit more tricky. So when you're doing these knots, if you bring it to the underside, it's what they call the dirty side, because you're always going to see a little knot or where you've had to cut the thread, and then you keep the top of the rod as the clean side, so you always got that immaculate thread running through there. But yeah, that's basically what you do. So final little bit on here, just got a little twist in that one, just got to use my burnishing tool to take that out, just run it back round. So basically this is the decal that's going to go on. I don't know if you can see that because it's clear cellophane, but in there it's got written Specialist Barbel 12 foot 1.7 pound, which is a test curve. So basically this will peel off of that, and then that will stick down onto it, if you imagine that's clear, and then I'll have another band around here of either green, or I might just do a metallic green just to close it off, just to give the decoration the other side of it. Yes, that's basically what you do there. But I won't put this on till last thing anyway, because I don't want it getting all scratched up. So far so good. All going well. Looking exactly the same as the other rod. The only difference is, rather than Duplant, I've put the cork on this one, because someone wanted cork rather than that. But yeah, this is exactly the same. That's the colour the thread will go, look, just slightly darkens. And obviously I haven't got this guide. The other one's up there in exactly the same place with its trim bands on, identical rods. We'll start on the top section now, shall we? It's always a good idea to protect your blank, so when that goes into the chuck, I'll put some masking tape around there, because you don't want it damaging it, because that's the side where the guides are going. I've got a little mark on the blank, so don't know if you can see that, but that is where the spline is. So as long as I keep to that line and eye them through. I forgot to mention on the other one, I did, when I put that first guide on, second guide on rather, I had a little guide alignment tool that sits into the real seat. I didn't actually show that, I should have done really, but that's how that works, to line them up, and then you can just eye it through and make sure they're in line. Get a nice white background, and then you can see exactly where they are. So yeah, we'll get these in, get this one in. You don't want to be clamping these up too tight, but this is quite a good chuck, this. It's got these nice rubber, don't know what you call them, protectors in the jaws of the chuck, so that sort of stops them getting damaged. Right, here we go, on to the next bit. So what I've done here is I'm using my rod that I built for myself, because I want this exactly the same. They're all going to be identical. So what I've done is I've put tape around where the threads are starting. It's all marked out, so all I've got to do is put the guide in between and put the thread around it. Simple as that. So I'm going to get on with this, and I won't show you me threading all this up. You've seen how to put one on. It just get a bit tedious watching that, I suppose. So like and subscribe, press the notification bell, and remember, I'm going to be building one of these for someone if you get me up to 3,000 in a month. See you tomorrow.